Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Duskers. So last episode, a lot of stuff happened, but also the video I uploaded, it was pointed out to me that the video on YouTube after the 19-minute mark, the audio cuts out and there's some visual corruption on it. The thing is, I record everything on the SSD, and SSDs aren't very large, so I really once YouTube confirms that a video has been processed successfully, I delete my old videos to make space for more, because otherwise that disk is full in no time. So I didn't actually have the recording of that video anymore, so I can't check if there was a problem with the source video or if it was a YouTube corruption. Sometimes things go wrong on the YouTube side. I've had it more times before, and then just deleting the old video, re-uploading the good local one, and that fixes the problem. Problem is, I didn't have the video anymore. So in direct response to that, today I went out and got myself a 1 terabyte hard drive that I plugged into my system, so all my recordings will now go to that new hard drive. And because it's a full terabyte, I basically can save a couple of weeks of recordings there. So this problem, I should be able to fix it now, rather than being unable to do anything about it. So it was the first time that it happened this way, so I learned, I fixed it. So I apologize for that. So that also means it was a 45-minute episode, and after 19 minutes the audio cut out. And usually half the fun of a game is commentary, so if you missed out on the last bit of the video, I'm not gonna be upset about it, and I understand. I'm not quite sure if I would have continued watching, but I'll just recap it. So just before the audio cut out, there was a warning of an asteroid about to hit the ship in a room very close to the entrance. Actually, because there were 2 doors that were jammed, and the door and the room where my power generator was being one of the rooms that was actually affected, and there was a corridor of jammed doors to the other power generator. So I realized that about when the 1 minute mark cooldown kicked in, it's like, damn, if something goes wrong and if the asteroid actually hits, it might be that my entire power supply will get flooded with radiation. So I decided to get all the drones out of the way. I closed all doors just to contain radiation. And then I sent the power generator drone, Sarah, back to the ship and moved the ship to the other side of the derelict just to get everything clear, because I'm not quite sure if asteroids can also hit the ship if the ship is connected, or no, just to avoid any kinds of issues, moved her out of the way. Once my ship was docked, I realized, wait, I have a bit of an issue, because I have 2 drones that are in rooms that are not connected to power, so I can't move them around in the ship or in the derelict itself. Luckily, both of those rooms were actually connected with an airlock, so I managed to get all my drones back into the airlock, and I awaited the asteroid impact, which basically just happened around the time I had all my drones in the ship, and then the asteroid hit. And it was actually the Armageddon situation I was hoping would not happen. The power generator room actually got hit with radiation, and the entire top right part of the ship got flooded with radiation. So if I hadn't retreated my drones, I would have lost them to radiation. Well, in fact, one of my drones I was actually withdrawing out of radiation, because it was one of the top rooms that I just had to get them out of. So there it was. Both of the power generator rooms unavailable due to radiation. All my drones in the ship, and half of the derelict unexplored. So I didn't really want to give up, so I figured, well, hey, there's a lot of airlocks around. Let's do something with that. So I docked on each and every airlock. I had Tweaky do the motion sensor from within my ship and just see if I could probe any rooms. I think I tried 6 different airlocks and only one of them had a room on the other side that gave a signal that was clear. Not quite sure if another room decided it was red or not, but I don't think so. So I sent a drone into that room. Turns out there was a power generator there. Very, very lucky. So plopped down Sarah, generated power, and then I just finished scouting, but I had to do some I had to take some risk because all the other rooms were not probable. So I set up Tim, the turret drone, at the entrance of my ship, just guarding the entrance to the ship. All other drones were all the way retreated to the back, and then opened the door, wait a bit. Turns out the room I was boarding was clear, so I sent Mouse out and I just scouted around a bit with Mouse, and all the rooms on the right side of the ship were clear, and nothing of worth was found. So all that was left were 3 rooms on the left side of the ship, pretty large room and 2 smaller rooms on top. So I went there, set up a turret, and big room was clear. Okay. So, once again, turret set up for the next room, and went there, clear. So, there was a power generator in that room. So, I set up Sarah to generate power, so I could get to the last room. Turns out, and also, of course, I set up Tim in front of the door to the last room, with the turret aimed at the door, as I had done for 2 or 3 other monsters in the room. Actually, it might have been more. I mean, he started at 120 health, and I think I had him down to 60 or 40 health by that time. So I defeated a number of those charger bots, alien things, something, chargers. So Tim was set up, turret was armed, door opens, charger comes through, and he does not get shot to bits as the previous ones. He just charges to Tim, disables him, and then I have a problem, because that room contained Tim guarding the entrance, Sarah generating power, and Mouse being ready to scout. So I can't really do much. Everything gets disabled, so all I have left is Tweaky aboard the ship, and the 2 drones I had rescued from the derelict, being incapacitated, so I couldn't do anything with them. So I first tried to set up a sensor trail for Tweaky, or with Tweaky. Basically, I wanted to lure the monster away, and I wanted to use the sensor trail to see that how far he had gone away, so I could use pry to actually close the door to move him away. Turns out, if you pry open a door with a drone, monsters are not gonna go through. At least that's how it looked, because I waited for a couple of minutes. The charger patrolled up and down into the room where my drones were disabled and the room where he originally came from. And the room I opened an entrance to below it with a pried open door, he never went there. So might either be a bug or I might be missing something, but my plan failed, because my plan was to let the charger go down into the big room where I had a sensor set up so I could see when he went there, and another room connected to that was also with also a sensor, so I could see when the charger was 2 rooms away from the room where I needed to do the rescue operation. So I could go in and use the pry on Tweaky to close the door again, so that the monster would be sealed in his own room, and I could now take my time to swap the tow module onto Tweaky and tow all the other drones back to the ship and get him out. That was the plan. That failed when the monster failed to go for the pried open door, so I had to improvise. So I checked the drones I had, and they actually had a sonic module, a sonic repel module, and that the description says it repels organic aliens. or organic, I think organic things. So those chargers, they look kind of organic. I mean, the purple things, they're bots, but these chargers, they are kind of organically shaped. So I figured, hey, let's take a chance with that. So, Tweaky, I took all the modules off, put them on one of the drones in storage. Tweaky was only carrying the sonic module. So, I docked on the room where 3 disabled drones were, plus the charger. And I opened up the door of the ship. I pre-typed Sonic on, and then I drove off, and the moment I saw the enemy appear on the edge of my screen, I hit enter, but by that time he had already jumped on top of me and disabled Tweaky. So Tweaky was also disabled, so all 4 of my drones were disabled. So at that point I bounced in exit and my ship left, because there were 2 disabled drones in my ship and Tweaky was just outside of the ship. So I lost all 4 of my mainline drones. So after that, I had a look. So Tommy, which was the only one that was fully repaired, is now my mainline scouting drone. I have Abby and Robbie, both with 1 bit of health repaired. Upgrades wise, all I had left were the motion sensor and the regular sensor that Tweaky was carrying and offloaded onto the storage drones. So I have those because I offloaded them. Besides that, I created a gatherer and I created a generator using a scrap, because that's one of the nice things. You can create a gatherer, generator and a tow module if you have the materials. And I had a lot of scrap, so I actually was able to afford that. I don't have a tow, so if I encounter other drones, I can't actually take them with me until I have enough scrap for that. That's also why I'm holding off on repairing my drones further right now. Tommy is gonna go out and gather stuff. So he's gonna be the most exposed, so that's why and he already had full health, so that kind of works out. Abby is gonna be my generator drones, replacing Sarah. Should never be in danger unless things go really wrong, so 10 health is enough, unless no radiation stuff happens, but can't always. Most of the time you can avoid that. Robbie, motion sensing and regular sensors. Again, scouting drone like Tweaky should be safe. And all the other slots are still open. So we got a very, very basic party. I don't even have an interface module, so I can't use the ship's guns to defend me. I can't use a ship scan, I can't use a survey. All those options are not available. This is a very, very basic crew. So either I have to dock with a trade station, or I have to find an interface module or a tow module, or both ideally, or more scrap to make a tow. But I have to find an interface at some point because it's so very useful. Having probes would be nice as well, since probes reveal, they do a full scan, they show a lot of scrap, would be useful as well. So, very, very basic bare bones crew. But I haven't been defeated, I still have an opportunity to go on. So after the very a lot of setbacks last episode, we're gonna see if we can still manage to make it out, or if this is gonna be the end of this run and we will just get defeated and need to do a reset to get new drones. So let's hope for the best and go for this. Also, I actually need to pick somewhere to go. So this was the space station where things went horribly wrong. So what we could do, we have 5 fuel. We could go to the trader and hope for good things. Actually, I got 5 jump fuel. I can trade that for propulsion fuel. That might actually be the best way to get out of this, so let's do that. Accessing log. Notice, pilots needed. Please, help us find a cure. Your life expectancy isn't long. Do something with it. We need an early stage of the disease. If we can get the ship infected for at least a year, we have a chance. We're building a comparative algorithm, blah, 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 blah. Hey. What can we get? Turrets, probes and teleporters. Turrets and probes are both very useful in my situation. for scouting and defense purposes. I mean, if I can't obtain enough information, this is going to be good. I mean, the probe basically functions like the interface. Ship upgrades, quarantine bypass, transporter, got all those. Fuel. So the nice thing is I have a lot of jump fuel. You can sell jump fuel for an insane amount of scrap. Also, they only have 14 scrap. Dang it. I only have 0 scrap, so I can never make this trade. Okay, so it would be nice if you could actually queue up trades like this. Like, okay, I'm offering you 15 scrap worth of jump fuel, and in exchange I would like some other things. So basically you balance it out, and after that you trade the difference. That's how Rimworld does it, which is really nice. And it's also what already, if you queue up things like repairs to your drones and things like that, you build up a queue and then you execute it. Trading could function the same way, and then you are never limited by a very limited amount of scrap. So basically I have the stuff, but I can't do anything with it. That's kind of frustrating. Because I could use more scrap to build myself a tow module right now. That's what I'm thinking. And also, if I could sell jump fuel, I could buy propulsion fuel as well. So I could actually run to the next derelict. As it is now, let's see, I could sell the ship surveyor. That gives me 6 scrap. I think I'm gonna have to sell the propulsion fuel. That way I am down to 11. 10 of that I can use to build myself a tow, so I can at least drag along corpses of disabled drones, so I can do rescue operations or rescue things, get ship upgrades, things like that. I've already got all the interesting things here. Teleport, don't think I've been often in a situation where teleport would be useful, so I probably wouldn't equip it anyway. Yeah, I can't do much with it, unfortunately. Okay, so modifications. We can craft a tow. See, exactly 10. So here I'm queuing things up. If I were... so this is spending, but for example, if I were scrapping this, I can also queue it up, and the difference is actually calculated here. That's how I would prefer trade to work. Unless this is intentional by design, but it would make more sense if it works this way. Okay, so we assemble the tow, we execute on that. Now we execute, let's see, we have a lot of extra things now. So Tommy, you get a tow and you get a turret. So you can scout about and set yourself up as a turret if you have to go in somewhere where we don't know how safe it is. And Robbie, because... actually, no, let's not put it on Robbie, let's put it on Abby, the probe. Since Abby is going to be stationary, it's very nice to put just the probe on her, since she's not going to move anywhere. That's going to be good, she's going to be out and about. Even though putting the probe on Robbie would make sense from a scanner drone theme. This way though, the extra space, both have one extra slot that they're not using. Okay, so we have nothing to do here, so let's travel to another galaxy. It's gonna cost us 2 jump fuel. This has no objects, this has 4 objects, so let's go here. Let's have a look. Class B ship. Okay, well, there's also a trading outpost next to us. But there's almost 20 minutes into the episode, scouting out a full Class B ship. Probably gonna be close to 15 or 20 minutes. So actually this is going to be a episode where I just spent my time talking and recapping what happened last time, doing a bit of a pep talk. I have more courage, more hope about the future of this group than I had at the beginning of the episode, because the trading outpost did provide some very useful things. So next episode we're gonna check out this volatile class B tech ship with 2 types of infestations, and we're gonna see if this is our next ship. I mean, it has a scrap capacity of 31, which I think is lower than what we have now, because the salvager has more. I think we can hold up to 151, but 31 is good enough for most purposes. And if it has upgrade slots, it means we can actually equip the remote power and the quarantine bypass, and we would need that to get to the quarantine here. So next episode we're gonna go explore. So with that, I thank you very much. Once again, I apologize for last episode's cutting out of the sound, but maybe my retelling of events was almost as entertaining. I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you again next episode. Bye bye.